Hello, hey, everyone. Adobe live right here. I'm Sam Anderson. We're here with Tony Grant joining us for an epic session, an epic live stream today where we are diving into designing portfolios. We're going to be looking at Photoshop and XD, the whole breadth. I'm really excited. So stay tuned for our 2 hour long stream today and tomorrow. But let's start off looking at our calendar, our schedule for the day. And while we pull this up, so over on the right column, that's where we are, web app design with Anfernee Grant, aka Tony Grant. After this stream, we have the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge with Howard Pinsky. It's going to be a really fun day, rest of the day that we have planned for here. You hear everyone. And we have people in the chat. They're already warmed up, coming in early. So we have John Much, Uran York, Voodoo Val, my dear studio, Angela, Laura. Hey, everyone. Everyone's so psyched. I'm psyched. We're just going to feed off this energy. If you are on that YouTube live page, make sure you hop over to the Behance live page, behance.net/live. And that's where we'll be looking at the chat and interacting with everyone. Say hi to Tony. Tony's here. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I kind of just want to give a brief introduction about myself. Again, my name is Tony Anfernee Grant, aka Anfernee Grant on the World Wide Web. I'm a UX UI designer. And yeah, the thing that I kind of want to talk about today is pretty much like designing a portfolio and what kind of goes into that, like how to approach it and how to take it from Photoshop to XD.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, no, it should be pretty cool. Yeah, so kind of just want to touch on where I'm from. As Drake would say, the six, but to the rest of the world, I'm from Toronto, Canada. And I've been designing for quite some time now, probably a decade and some change. And if you recognize these icons right here, that means you've been designing since like the dinosaur age. So yeah, I definitely have some experience behind my belt, and jumping into XD is going to be quite fun. And stepping away from these
You're
tools.
Calling out anyone that recognizes those icons.
That's all good. It means you have some experience under your belt for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and again, so yeah, the agenda for today is designing a portfolio, and kind of want to really touch on some things to look for when you're designing. So like, focusing on like the content, the understanding like the different target audience, and some of the key features that we can kind of really focus on to kind of optimize your designs. And the 3 pages that I want to touch on for this live stream, if we have time, is our homepage, the partner page, and the about page. So those are the 3 areas I think a good portfolio should have, and obviously the contact us page. But these don't have to be on like different pages; they can be on one page. But if you have like these elements in your portfolio, it would really cater to like a really balanced portfolio.
The core structure, everyone's got to have it.
Yeah. And yeah, if you guys want to find me, ironically, you can find me at my portfolio at anfernee.com. There you'll find like some of my social links. Feel free to just reach out, shoot me a message. And yeah, let's get into this. So the first thing, let me just zoom this down. Yeah, so before starting any project, usually, I usually want to like source out inspiration, and this usually happens before a project or even while I'm just like sitting home doing nothing really. I'm always just on the internet, just kind of like looking at other people's work, gathering like inspiration. So one site I like to do that is this site called Save It. It's a really cool site where you can like, if you see anything on the web, you can right click and kind of save it to your profile. So it's really dope site for like inspiration. The next one we all know, awards, the awards. This is a really cool site that curates a lot of different websites across the globe. So this is definitely one to go to.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's like my go-to. Another one that I appreciate is Motionographer. It's more for like motion graphics. And like as a UX UI designer, I don't always like to kind of get inspiration from like the same medium I'm in. I kind of like to kind of dive outside of that and kind of really draw inspiration from like motion, from TV, from like videos, like music videos, even video games, stuff like that. And also even like development. I probably should mention I kind of have a front-end development background. So Code Drops is a really great resource for just like really cool interactive designs and interactions, I should mention. And also being a part of like a good community helps too. So Webflow is one community that I really enjoy being a part of. It's really inspirational for like design, even like front end development, and just overall design in general. And outside of that, even 3D, I love to get into 3D. And I kind of really want to incorporate more 3D into my work moving forward. So being, again, a part of like a good community like Blender is a great way to kind of get inspiration, kind of widen your range. And other designers that you can follow, like for me, I love following Tabithus. I think I butchered his name, but I've been following him for years, and he's one of my favorite designers. Really, really love his work. And last but not least, Creative Mint. Love his work. Again, this is an example of where I would love my designs to elevate to. We're incorporating a lot of like 3D and a lot of clean aesthetics in your designs, but you're never too old to learn something new. Like that's one thing I love about design is that it's always changing, it's always developing, and just surrounding yourself, even if you're not around them, but surrounding yourself with like really talented people, you'll kind of like elevate your skill set in the same way. So
I couldn't agree more. I love that you mention of all these different communities being able to learn from one another, incorporating 3D, all huge. Let's dive in.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna close this real quick. And okay.
Thanks for all the participation in the chat too. Brett says Flash used to be the bee's knees. It definitely,
yeah. Flash used to be the Wild West, man. No rules, just create whatever you want and like put it on the web. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, it's kind of the world a whole new thing to play with.
Yeah. So what I want to do is, as I mentioned, I recently designed my not recently, maybe like 2 years ago, designed my portfolio in Photoshop, and I kind of want to take this design and bring it into XD, so it's more scalable. I can start playing with like interactions, certain things that you would find on the web, and kind of just really having that flexibility. Photoshop is a great tool for like designing in general. Like it doesn't really matter what tool you kind of actually use, right? Like it really kind of matters like at the end of the day how you get the job done, really. So you can use whatever tool you want, but certain tools is going to allow you to do certain things and kind of cater to a certain medium. And XD is one of these tools that kind of really allow you to kind of cater to like what design like micro interactions, like and really kind of designing components and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I want to bring that design into here and kind of have it as a new medium or a tool to kind of scale my portfolio. So first screen I'm going to start with is the home screen. And usually what I start with is like just defining like the grid. And for the home screen, it's a little bit different. Actually, I kind of cheated, but it's a little bit different from your typical grid. So it's a 12 column grid, which you'll find right here, but it's going to expand the entire width of the canvas, just because I want to really utilize a 3 column grid when I divide it in 3. So how I'm gonna get that is, I mean, I can either like just take this tool right here and start drawing this guy. What I'm gonna do is actually, I'm just gonna be a little bit smart about it. So let's just grab the width of this, right? So I'm just gonna grab the width of this canvas and just divide it by 3, so I can get an even spaced out column. So
yeah, that's always a good trick to mention that XD, you can actually do math equations in those little input fields. So you can divide by 3, multiply.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just gonna like, again, divide this in 3, snap it to there, and now I have like 3 columns. So I actually don't need these 2 for now, but just to make sure that it's divided by 3, I'll just test that. And what I want here is, again, I'm gonna have like my image here, and then like the main message on the homepage of what I do and what I'm about in this section right here. One thing, so I'm just gonna change this to black as an outline, and I'm just gonna again hide the columns. You can always use shortcuts to do that too, but just to make it a bit more visual, so you know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna stay away from shortcuts. Okay, so with that, and I'm gonna grab my background color, which I probably should define in a SWAT. So this is gonna be my background color. And
ooh, almost black.
Almost black, yeah. I don't tend to, it depends on what I'm doing, but sometimes like I don't always try to go 100% black, just to kind of give it a more like not too vibrant look. But this one is going to be all black, so there's a bit of that contrast that you're going to see there. And
yeah, I dig it.
The border. And
nice. And so what are these 3 columns going to work out on this homepage?
I'm just going to use this as like more as like a design element. So throughout like the entire portfolio, things are going to be lining up on 3 columns.
Nice.
So it's going to be a bit more obvious as I go through, but it's more of just a design element that I'm going to be kind of carrying out through the entire design. Okay, so and also I have some notes here too. So
all good. I mean, that's a great thing to mention, is just having a consistent grid of staying true to that 3-column design. It's going to be helpful for any designers, just for that consistency. If you're making a website or any kind of piece of design work, staying consistent with those columns is going to be key.
Yeah, it's always, again, it doesn't have to be a 3-column, but just following the grid that you set up or the column is always a great idea to kind of keep consistent. And once you kind of establish that and you understand like the grid and how to use it, you're more than always welcome to like even break it to kind of create a visual interest too. So, but understanding it and then learning how to break it is
yeah, like rules are meant to be broken style, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leo's asking a question here about how these prototyping tools link into the coding process. And it's not a dummy question, Leo. Don't worry. This is a perfectly valid question.
So how do these prototyping tools lead into the coding process? Was that the question?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. So for me, it's like a playground to kind of experiment ideas that you may have early on versus trying to, traditionally, going into like the browser and then testing them out right away, or handing off. If you're working in like even in a large team, you can use like these tools to kind of hand off to your dev team and illustrate a certain like interaction or micro interaction, and then kind of iterate on that before like doing it in the in the browser. So that's how I use these tools to kind of
Yeah,
illustrate certain ideas.
I feel the same way. It kind of sets you up to know what you're going to be diving into without having to actually code before you get there. So you can iterate, come up with all these, like you said, playground. I thought that was a great just word to use. Like you have this
Yeah.
playground. Once you finalize it, then you kind of go into that development process.
Yeah. So this is.
I help businesses stand out. I like it.
Yeah. So that's going to be my pretty much just in one sentence what I do. And then I'm going to have like maybe a subtitle to kind of explain what that means. Right. And I'm just going to change this from regular to maybe bold. Again, let's see.
Are you using Lado or Lado?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that typeface, but it's a classic.
I think it's called Lado, if I'm not
Lado.
mistaken. I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
But
I never know how to pronounce these font names. It's like there's some crazy ones. Yeah.
I think honestly every tool should come with like maybe like a screen reader button, so it just pronounces it for you.
This is a great idea.
I never know how to pronounce any of them. I just know what they look like.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna maybe bring.
And Leo says thanks.
Oh no problem, man.
And you're going for this like really bold, big text look. Is that coming from the inspiration that you were pulling from earlier, or is that just your style?
I would say, I don't know. I'm not sure if I have it. People say I have a style, but I don't recognize it. But I'm really just gonna do what I think looks good. What to me, it's about the messaging too, right? Like you want the messaging to stand out. So that's kind of why I'm emphasizing the main message, and then I'm gonna follow it up with like some subtext to kind of cater to the main message. So, but yeah, absolutely. I might apply this across the board. We'll see. So let's just do that, and then this part right here, I'm going to have like an image. So let me see if I can drag in an image of myself.
And Laura said, I love this point that Laura's making in the chat. It's so important for designers to write good copy. Marsha followed up, writers write copy. Yes, absolutely. It's huge. I mean, it's like the bulk of what we design is writing, right?
I agree. But I will also, for some of this like design, I'm not gonna write the entire copy. I will shamefully use some lorem ipsum, but I will kind of preface that with like some subtitle of what that the lorem ipsum should say. And then this is for myself, but usually when I'm like designing like my own stuff, like I would write all the copy, right? But just to kind of get like maybe like a character count or how much text should be there, I kind of just start with lorem ipsum. But I have a really general idea of what that copy should be. And even before like getting to design, I tend to just work off a document and just kind of like jot everything down. So it's kind of like that's what I'm doing right now. Like
exactly.
I have like a whole Word doc that I just start initially first from, and then I kind of go into design from like not design, but more into like wireframing. Depends though. If I'm working with a team, it's more like wireframing. If it's like by myself, I would probably sketch some things on paper and really rough it out, and then kind of like jump into like the tool.
I love that. I think writing as the first step of a design process is undervalued. It's always where I go first and foremost for whenever I start with writing. Oh, it's a great photo of you.
Yeah. This, the original, if I show you the original photo, you wouldn't say that. Like I really, I really like went to work in Photoshop and made sure that, so right now what I'm doing, I'm just gonna mask this, right? So I just kind of mask it like that. And actually, you know what? To me, I kind of want to brighten this up a bit. And one thing that I really love about XD right now is that you can like jump from like different applications. So from like Photoshop to XD. So if you're not aware, you probably are aware if you use XD, but I'm just gonna right click and actually, yeah, let's click on the image and edit in Photoshop. So what that does, it just brings it up in Photoshop. And I'm just gonna brighten it up a touch so there's a bit more contrast.
I like that. Yeah, good call.
Just a touch. And then once you save it, it will make that update in
Voodoo Val in the chat agrees. It's a very nice photo. Everyone agrees.
No, I appreciate it. the after is nice.
I'm really curious what it looked like before.
Oh man. I won't share. But,
okay.
Let's just say my skin isn't this smooth. But for the internet, I have to, bring my website forward. So what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna create like my logo or like a spot for the logo, right? And
yeah, which I see you're rocking on your sweater too.
Oh yeah. I had to. I had to come branded. I had to.
You're like, you've got the whole ecosystem figured out.
Yeah, this was planned in advance, like years in advance. But okay, so I'm just gonna grab my brand color, which is this red.
Oh, nice.
So let's just bring this in here. And then add it to this one. Okay, so let's see if I can grab my logo too, which I have right here.
I like that logo. Can you tell us about the logo?
Yeah, so the logo, I did this a while ago back, again, when I first made my website. This was maybe 15 years ago. And what I wanted to do was pretty much just have a mark for myself. So it's pretty much my initials. So an A and a G, that's combined. So yeah, that's where Anfernee Grant, which is my first and last name. But because I didn't know what the internet was at the time when I created my first website, I kind of just went with this alias of Anfernee, which was something that sounded like my name. And it was at the time one of my favorite players, Anthony Hardaway. So I kind of just used that as my alias. Sorry, I just had to kind of push that in because that was an older version of my
website
where it was
adaptations on the fly in XD. Just go for it.
Yeah,
I love it
because it was a SVG. I could just make those changes, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I do dig that.
So
I like how you like you decided Anfernee and then you just decided to stick with it.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but it does cause some confusions at times. But it's a great icebreaker.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I'm just gonna name these guys so I know exactly what's what. Usually, sometimes when I'm working for myself on a personal project, I tend not to name theirs, but when I'm working with a team, like I want to make sure that I name the layers. So I'm gonna do the same here.
It's easy to kind of lose track of the layers for sure.
Yeah, especially when you're prototyping too. Make sure you want to name the layers.
Yeah. Well, as you're doing that, I have 2 questions for you in the chat. Let's start with the first one. Laura's asking, what did you use to make the animation of stand out? Like, I think she's referring to the text stand out on your website, and she thinks it's awesome.
Thanks. So that was done using JavaScript plugin. I will link to, I forgot what it's called, but it's used for typography. And there's different effects that it could do. And that was one of the effects that I was drawn to kind of make the word stand out. And you could also do it. There's several ways you can do it. There's always, more than one way of doing something. So you can do it using code, or you could have done it using like After Effects, and then create like a looping GIF, and then placing that GIF on the web. So sometimes when I want to explore certain ideas, I kind of jump in After Effects if I can't do something in like XD or Photoshop. Like After Effects is a great tool to kind of really manipulate graphics. So
yeah, another great place that's to bring back what you said earlier, a playground.
Yeah, it's a great tool to kind of like even do like not interactive prototypes, but just like prototypes that can be visualized, and then you can like hand off to like a dev. You can do a lot of cool things in there. So I'm gonna use this tool, this mark right here for the menu, and I'm gonna have it white. And okay, and then in here, I want to kind of just do the classic
hamburger
menu.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone knows what it is. It's very predictable.
Yeah.
Which is good in terms of experience design. You want everyone to know what it is.
Thinking, should I do 2 or 1? Yeah.
I think
3 or 2.
Ooh, probably 3 is usually the standard, but I've seen 2 before.
Yeah, I know Apple does 2. They always want
to. They're just standing out from everyone.
Yeah, I wonder why they did 2. It was probably like we only need 2 to do the X, so why do we have 3? Who knows? I don't know why they did 2, but I'll go with 3.
Yeah.
So that looks
Voodoo cool. Val and Marsha are wondering, what's your experience with coding?
My experience? So yeah, I've been coding really early on in my career, from again maybe I would say 13 years ago, and that came about because I like working with developers. I love working with developers. I was always curious about how they did what they did, and really fascinated by it. And I just picked up a few books and started like learning how to code. And my first, I guess, portfolio, I should have mentioned this actually. My first portfolio, which was the first site I created, was just like a 1-pager, and it just said, it had like a cool graphic, like illustration graphic in the background. And it said coming soon, like my portfolio. So yeah, to any of the young designers out there, there's always this like chicken and the egg scenario where, you're looking for like employment and stuff like that, or work where you have to have a portfolio, but you don't have anything to put on your portfolio. So it's like, what do you do? So like my recommendation would be to kind of like, one, you can create personal projects. That's a great way of, getting like your work out there. Create anything that you're interested in, or go out and see if you can like solve a problem through UX and UI, and create those personal projects, right? And then add to your portfolio. Or this is probably not the popular, I guess, recommendation. You can simply have like that 1-pager, right? That's kind of what I did. I had the 1-pager, it said coming soon. And then while that was up, I was working on personal projects. And then once those personal projects were done, I would take down that coming soon page and kind of create that portfolio. But yeah, to answer the question, yeah, I've kind of been coding from like early on in my career, just because I was really fascinated with what developers do and how they took this static mockup and brought it on the web. That was really, really intriguing to me.
It's huge. Yeah. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to change.
What's next here?
Okay. So I think we're cool there. I just want to make sure that this is, I'm just going to really, actually, I like this. I'm just going to use this to kind of gauge it. That is at 70. So
staying consistent with spacing.
yeah,
Always a thing to watch out for.
yeah. So let me just, I just want to make sure that's cool there. And the next step I'm going to do is design like the actual projects or the case studies.
Yeah, I think that one will be really fun.
Yeah. So
cool.
That's cool. Yeah, so let's dive into the case studies. You know what? I will.
So you imagine like people will land on this homepage. They're going to see you. I help businesses stand out. Then to go into your specific projects.
Yeah, so I might add some like some buttons here to the case studies are going to be here hidden, and I might add some buttons here so you can click through and then it'll go through like the case study. So yeah, we'll do that right now. Okay, let's just create another. Actually, I'll just do this. And this case study. Okay, I'm just gonna take this because I want them to again be in a 3. Actually, you know what? I think I messed up. Yeah, let me not use this one. Let me use this one. And I'm just doing this in separate comps right now, or canvases, but I'm gonna bring them all together once it's all done. Okay, so case study is gonna be this shape. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna just pull a doc here and grab the text. Okay, so first one. Okay. Like how you can just like drag over it and then kind of switch it out.
Yep.
It's a really, really cool feature. So, yeah,
and that's carried over from the mask you made before.
Yeah, exactly. Use this guy. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is kind of bring this on top. Just cutting it out and pasting again. And paste that in there. Okay, so this is gonna be the title of the case study.
Nice.
Let's drop this. Oops.
Voodoo Val saying the guy in the picture looks so pleasant. He does. He looks very happy to be looking at his screen.
Yeah.
Voodoo Val's also asking who inspires your work, and I know you touched on some people at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Tobias Van Schneider, very popular one.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been following him for years. I really, really love his approach. Very clean. Very intentional with his designs. I follow a lot of different people, like on Twitter. I'm just inspired by a lot of different things. People, a lot of different mediums. Usually, again, outside of like design, but within design too, for sure. What?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Jason's replying to the photo. If you had your hair that looked that good, you'd be that happy too. I just thought that was so funny.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, lots of design. Twitter is the place to be for. Yeah.
I find myself if I go on Twitter, I'm just gonna go like through like a wormhole of like just inspiration.
Absolutely. I gotta follow you on Twitter after this.
Oh, definitely. I'm always tweeting. Well, not always, but I tweet regularly. I tweet often.
What's your Twitter handle? We'll put it in the chat.
It's Anfernee G.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Oops.
And then
Okay,
Sam
so
Taylor a while back asked, can XD be used like Keynote? I've never understood what it's for. And yeah, you could use XD to make presentations, or you could do it like what we're doing here right now, which is designing a website to make a prototype. But I believe Tony's earlier presentation was, which his intro slides were just an XD, was just an XD document. So you can use them both ways.
yeah. So I'm just gonna create this little gradient so the words kind of stand up from it. I just kind of I could have like sent it.
Good old gradient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
And then here.
Thanks for linking Voodoo Val to Tony's Twitter.
There. Okay, so just gonna make this a little smaller. Ideally, just have it like on 3 lines, and then again, because this font family has so many different weights, one of the reasons why I'm using it, and it's just a clean font. I know right now there's a trend going on with fonts where there's a lot of like emphasis and there's a lot of stylization on fonts being used, which I really dig. Kind of want to start a project where I'm kind of just focused on that. But for this project and this portfolio, I kind of just chose a font that was really straightforward. And that didn't take away from the actual like projects themselves.
But you envision yourself doing a project in the future where you're going more heavy in type?
Yeah, I think that would be nice. Yeah, I have this idea where I want to kind of do like this, I don't know if I should say it, but like an interactive story. Again, I kind of already did one, but it's going to be more focused on type.
Nice. I like that. And Voodoo Val is also wondering what typeface this is. It's Lato or Lato. We weren't sure the pronunciation, but Lato. It's one. I believe it's one of the popular fonts right now. It's like one of the standard ones in Google Docs, I think, and I think it's on the Google Fonts page, so you can get it from there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's on Adobe Fonts or not, but definitely a solid one with all the different styles.
Okay, so.
Oh, I like this Questrade corporate site. What is Questrade?
Yeah, Questrade is a company where I work actually, and
nice.
They're a fintech company that allows Canadians to sell and trade stocks.
Well, there you go. That's huge.
Okay, so got that.
Oh, it is on Adobe Fonts. Thanks for the other link, Voodoo Val. Voodoo Val just coming in with all the great resources. Thanks so much. Yeah, you can get it right at that link. Great typeface.
Okay, sweet. Okay, I'm going to turn all of this into a component now, which is, so I'm just gonna right click and make that component, or you could have done Command K, which is pretty cool because now what I want to do is just use a repeat grid, which is super handy, and kind of seems like my calculations might have been off.
Yeah, something about that. I was looking at like, here's where your 3 column comes in, but looks like maybe it's falling a little bit short.
Let's check that out. Let's see why that is.
Might just need to be a bit wider.
Okay, I'm just gonna troubleshoot this real quick. Minus this, right? So this minus divided by 3, which is should be correct. It should be 6.
Is the component maybe not starting at the first pixel on the y-axis or x-axis?
Yeah, let's see. It is.
Weird.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
Oh, maybe the elements are overlapping a little bit on the repeat grid. Maybe or maybe not. That's it.
I just didn't push it far enough. I'm such a cloud.
It's all good.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So that is cool. I think I'm going to have I think 6. So let's just
go and have some side scroll action.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the next one will be another project, which will be let's see. So this one will be the same thing. That is so cool.
There you go. Nice rendering you got there.
Yeah.
Is this another financial product?
No. This was a well, technically yes, but it was a dashboard design.
Okay. I saw the graph and I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Technically, it was a dashboard for a finance company, but a different one.
Very slick. I like it. Look at those shadows. Ooh, so many shadows.
So, okay. Okay, cool. And then the next one I'm going to throw in is this one. So what I want to do with this is I don't have the content showing right away. So like on hover, so on defaults, I kind of want to have like this text like right here, and then like the description is going to be hidden, and then on hover it shows more.
Oh, I dig that. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is another reason why you made it a component earlier, because components is how we will do the hover states later on, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I couldn't do all of this like in Photoshop. Like I could design this, but like doing all these type of interactions wouldn't be possible, which is why I wanted to move this over here into XD.
Yeah, you can really start making things interactive. You have your components. It's really just taking it above and beyond.
Yeah. Sweet. Now this is cool. I really like the fact that you can just like drag and drop elements and replace it. It's so much faster.
Yeah, that's fun. Marsha's asking, could you use a system like Tobias's Semplus? I don't know if you're familiar with Semplus, and work backwards to try out different designs and interactions in XD. Ooh, that's a tough question.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, so it's Semplus is a website building tool that works on top of WordPress.
Okay.
I think it's Van Schneider's. I think it's his. I think he made it. um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You see that? Now you know what yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I've never actually used it, but I do know that is for portfolios designs.
yeah, I've heard of a
Especially.
lot of people that use it, Marsha. So it's definitely one to look out for. I'm not sure about working backwards in terms of, because you might find it a little difficult to work backwards from the web development tool, then going to XD. Although it's worth a shot, because I'm actually not sure what the capabilities of that one are. So, but I do know there's lots of great content online to learn how it's done. You know what I love about this design is just you're not shying away from these projects, going full height, nice high quality images, really leading people in through their senses, like their visual senses, which I think is a very successful way. You see a lot of portfolios kind of shy away from this large aspect, right? Just having little rectangles, almost like a dribble page,
Yeah.
but really going big, taking the whole height. It's sensory. It's good.
Yeah. I kind of just want to, I think it's important for your portfolio to kind of tell a story and kind of bring out maybe even a bit of your personality. Like I kind of did that with the copy and really kind of bring out my personality through the copy. What I know generally it's probably portfolios usually focus on the actual product and then less on the actual portfolio itself, which is fair to do too, because it is about the actual work. But I kind of wanted to take my portfolio and kind of make the portfolio itself a project and kind of really focus on the details of the actual portfolio and then have that be the platform to kind of lend itself to the actual projects. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why I really kind of went with this big imagery and really just focus on the portfolios, but also the portfolio itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, if we're going to call ourselves experience designers or interaction designers, like if we're going to say we're designing experiences, like our website is one of those experiences. So definitely put effort into it, right? Just like any of your projects. Well, I like this one. Great illustrations.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one, I didn't do the illustration for this one. It was a book that was given to my wife as a gift, and what I did with it was I turned it into like an interactive story because our son at the time, my wife was teaching him how to read, and I was loving the way she was so animated with how she was reading to the story to him. So I was like, how can I, as a designer, I was like, how can I like kind of take that experience and like bottle up and teach our son how to read through either the tablet or yeah, pretty much his tablet. So I kind of just created this interactive story from that.
I love that concept. Very cool.
Fun personal project. And the last one.
One more to fill out here?
Yeah.
Nice. As you're doing that, I have a question from Leo, who's saying, do you run into any issues when working with developers or the engineers where what they make is not looking close to what the prototype is?
That happens all the time.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I learned how to code. But yeah, no, it's just about communication, and at that point, just working closely with your developers and trying to communicate either verbally or through again tools like XD, prototyping tools like XD or After Effects to kind of communicate your idea. But even just making sure what you're trying to like prototype is even like possible. Usually, I find if you can do it in XD, then you should be able to like code it. But yeah, it's just at the end of the day about communication.
Absolutely. Whether it's a conversation with a developer that you just have one-on-one to explain how something works, or it's a prototype, it all comes down to making sure that you and the developer or engineer are on the same page with what's going on. So
Yeah,
it's usually a means of doing all of those, but it's
yeah,
never going to be perfect. And so that's why you work together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is for this, I want it to like slide in like
Ooh.
this, right?
Oh, dang.
And so we'll leave it like that. But I'll leave this here. Actually, yeah, I'll just leave this here.
Okay. Okay. That'll be cool. And that will be triggered from a button. Like you press a button, then it will slide. But I
Yeah,
imagine we'll get to that later. We have more content to figure out.
yeah.
I imagine is
Actually,
your plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Cool.
I have to add one more. I forgot.
Oh, okay.
The one that we're actually going to be designing.
Very cool.
So let me just get this guy here, and this one will be called. I didn't get this name. Let's just give it a name. It's and
Lifestyles with a Z.
with a Z. And I'm just gonna throw in some for now because I don't have a copy that I prepared, but I can now use Lorem Ipsum as like just a content block, like indicator of how much copy I should throw in there. Generally, I kind of want everything to be like on 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, let me just change the image like that one. I'm going to just do it off here. And that is 640. And what I want to do is, this is like, it's going to grab the image, which is,
Ooh.
you know what? I probably should have just copied this component. Oh. It's, I probably should have copied that component and
Yeah, that works.
yeah, do it like that so I don't have to redo it.
Nice. What's this last one? Is it a surfing related project? Or not surf? Why'd I say surfing? Snowboarding.
Yeah, snowboarding.
I'm dreaming of summer right now from New York where there's like feet of snow on the ground. I'm thinking of surfing in the tropical sun.
Yeah, man, I'm waiting for summer too, man. This being locked up, quarantining in the winter is not fun, but it's necessary, I guess. But I do miss the summer though. Can't wait for
Yeah.
that.
Where are you tuning in from, Tony?
Oh, Toronto.
Oh yeah, you said that, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's probably pretty cold up there too.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, so I'm going to just bring this all here. And what I want to do with this is, actually, I'm going to grab the color, but I might want to bring this in Photoshop. I kind of just want to add some highlights to this. So I'm just gonna do this quickly.
Yeah, nice. Good call.
So just gonna double click on this guy. And actually, so it's gonna add a background so I can see what I'm doing.
That's a good call. Always a great step to working in Photoshop.
Yeah, so I kind of want to like add just like a highlight, a blue highlight, so it kind of looks like it's coming from the blue background. That's right. Looks good.
Oh, I see that. Almost looks like because we're going to have that teal blue as the background, so it's almost coming in as a light source.
Yeah.
On the photo, it's a great visual trick.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, I think that's good for now. Actually, let's see if we can just do one more. Actually, that should be. Let me see if I can put the ends of it. Yeah, like that. Okay, cool. Just for time, I'll just leave it like that. But
yeah, that's nice. And then remember to make the background transparent again.
Yeah, I forgot to take it off.
It's all good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. It looks good. And for this one, I'm just gonna adjust the and okay, and one last thing for this one. And then we'll get on to actually designing of this page.
The project page for lifestyles, right? That's the one we're going into?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to look for some. Sorry, I'm just looking for. I'm gonna add this.
Ooh.
Ooh. Why did that come all pixelated? Oh, snap. I saved it out wrong. Okay, that's fine.
I love these layers that you're going to have here.
Yeah. So let me just grab this guy. I'm going to again mask this. Mask. And then I'm going to send this back. I'm going to send this back. You can do all of this through here too, but I'll just.
Yeah, the Command Shift and then the bracket keys will either send back or front. Cool. Yeah, everyone in the chat is loving how this is looking too.
Sweet.
Marsha in the chat is also from Toronto.
Oh, nice. Actually, I might have it wrong. I have a better quality version of this. Here we go. I wasn't digging that low res version.
There you go.
Okay.
Voodoo Val's asking if you use any plugins in your workflow, and if you do, which ones you like the most?
I do. I use when I'm designing like more like platforms or mobile apps. I use like plugins for those. For instance, just check. I have like Airtable. I have like UI faces, overflow.
Oh yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah. Okay. I'm butchering this.
Airtable, is that for bringing in content from Airtable?
Yeah.
Put in the design? Very handy. And then UI faces can generate pictures like avatar photos to place them in your designs. It's a very handy plugin as well. I use that one a bunch.
Okay. Okay, that's looking cool. Just turn it up into. Okay, let's zoom up.
Nice.
Okay.
7 whole projects. Is that how many you have on your portfolio?
No. 6, but I want it to be.
Yeah.
I want to add this one. Oh.
It's an awesome range of work.
Did I just miss that?
Oh, you might have not been. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I have to. I got it. Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah, and for these thumbnails, I kind of wanted to really try to my best to keep like a solid background for them, but it didn't work.
The solid colors for each one. Yeah, that keeps it consistent. I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
So yeah, for the meat and potatoes of this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is create like the banner image. So I usually just kind of start off with like just blocking things out and kind of like filling as I go. But prior to that, I write it down and see what type of information I need on the page, and then take that and apply it. So
nice.
Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is just create
we can tell you've put a lot of thought into how you're approaching this.
Oh, appreciate it. Okay, so cool.
Uduval, thanks for the link to the UI Faces plugin. It's a great one.
And I'm just going to grab the brand colors for this. So, and let's just add them to the color picker. I probably should name them, but it's okay. I don't have.
Oh, that works. Yeah, those are nice colors.
And cool. Okay. And generally, like what I would do is I would create like styles for your when I'm working, but because this is such a small project, I'm just gonna not do that. And again, for I guess the sake of time, but usually I would create like styles and like a style library.
Have a whole design system to build out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And would that be specific to just this project or a specific style for your portfolio?
It would be for any project that I'm working on.
Yeah. I know something that some designers struggle with when building these pages for each of their projects is if the page itself of the portfolio for that project should follow the design of the thing that the project is about or the design of the portfolio, you know?
Yeah, so that's a good point. What I tend to do is I kind of make the page itself resemble the brand. So like you'll notice like here, I'm going to change this from red to like the blue color.
Yeah, there you go.
and kind of take accents from pretty much the lead from their brand. And so every project on my portfolio is taking the brand color, the brand guidelines from that actual project. So it kind of makes it a bit unique.
I like that approach.
Yeah.
Just having the accents in there.
And let's make this a component too. We're going to need to. Yeah, let's make this a component too.
Componentizing everything. Very slick.
Yeah, it's the best way to work. Don't repeat yourself.
And I imagine clicking on that would just bring you back to the homepage or the list of projects or.
Yep.
Yep. Nice. Pretty much a standard behavior that people have learned. So it's great to just work with those things that everyone's already learned.
Yeah, so I think what would be really cool is actually let me build this first and then see if it's something that we can do. Okay. So
I like how those angles match up, like the angle of the board and the mountain. That's slick. It's a good composition.
Definitely intentional. I think with anything, there should always be intent or reason behind why you do what you're doing, right? Not just because it looks cool, but it's kind of leading into the text, right? Which is kind of like the hero of.
Yeah. Same with the photo of you on the front homepage.
Yep.
It's almost like you're looking at your name or like at that main title.
Exactly.
It like people.
Exactly.
I think people just follow where people look, right? So, kind of using psychology on your side.
Yeah. Okay, so that looks cool. You know what would be really cool? I don't want to say it because I don't want to promise it, but this is just a thought I'm having right now. So let's say you click on this photo, right? And because it's the blue background, but let's say we had like a blue background, right? Let's say this background was blue, right?
Yeah.
But then like a transitional thing would be nice if it was like something like this. Let's just really rough this out. I'm not going to do it, but so you click on it, right? And you click on this guy, and then you go to this page, then it would transition to this logo, right? It would just like scale back and then reveal this content. I think
I can see that. That wouldn't be too hard. With auto animate, you could do that.
Yeah, it definitely is doable. My only concern is something like that would have to, again, going back to like designing with intent. So I would have to do something very similar with all the other ones.
Yeah.
Find that solid color and always make that like a consistent interaction. So
there's the reason that you had the solid color.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I would have to go back and maybe make these ones a solid color, possibly. But we'll see. We'll see if that works. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is add in the overview section. So let me grab this text. So again, when you click on this guy, the story that I'm trying to tell here is the hero banner is telling what this project is about. And then following that, I just want to have like an overview text, kind of explaining. I keep doing that. Let me just do this. I like this feature where you don't put it in a text box and you just drag it, just scales. Versus when you put it in text box, you gotta use this to like fix the size.
Yeah, there's a few different text box styles for depending on the type that you want to use.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that, and for this portion, I'm going to just have some lorem ipsum, but again, it's just a placeholder to for myself.
Yeah.
But once it goes back, it will definitely be.
There was an older question in the chat from a while back about where do you get your lorem ipsum from? Because people were talking about you need to be up to date with where you get it from, which I thought was funny.
Is that a thing? I usually just go to lorem.com.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Is there other sources? I'm pretty sure
there's like bacon ipsum and like all these different versions of it, you know.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure there's probably like a plugin from XD.
There is, yeah, there's an XD plugin for it.
Yeah.
Sure. So you could use that too. Lots of ways to get your ipsum, you know, however you want it.
However you want it. Okay. So let's just say this would be our overview text here. And then here, I'm going to have some additional details like the company or client here. And I'm just going to place, actually, yeah, let's just create this section. Oh, what's that? Wrong one. Let's just create the text here. I'm going to refine the text after and kind of get that visual balance in a bit. But this will be
everyone's chiming in. Matthias is saying zombie ipsum, Voodoo Val like Star Wars ipsum. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Oh my gosh. Joanne L is saying using the bacon ipsum. That's a fun one. Yep. Yeah, but in general, I do think that you probably want to move away from the filler text as soon as possible, because once you are working with the real content, that's when your design's brought to life. But in terms of early stages, getting an idea of like what's the structure, what's the layout.
Right. It's a very, very valid point.
Cat ipsum. I had no idea some of these existed. Okay. And I like how you're putting in just on a sidebar, like the client, the role, very like easy to read, super quick. Anyone could just glance at this and know what the gist of the project is without having to read a whole paragraph.
Yeah.
Cupcake ipsum. Now you guys are just messing with us. You're trolling us.
Yeah. And the last one would be .com. Okay. Yeah, the spacing in here is definitely not working for me, so I'm just gonna adjust that.
Yep.
So and maybe like generally if I was coding this would be like H1, H2. This might be like an H3, so with that I will make these a bit smaller. And I probably should have made, again, the text out for this, but it's okay.
Yeah. So what Tony's referring to is like those H1, those come from HTML, like the different levels of the headers. And yeah, having the style sheet would help. But you can kind of eyeball it. I think how you're eyeballing it is also works. As long as you're
Yeah,
staying consistent is probably the biggest thing, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, because right now it was competing a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to even this copy text. We'll see. Actually, no, we do want this a bit here. So this would technically be like my body copy, for instance, if I was defining some styles here. I probably should. I probably should. So let's, you know, I'm gonna come back and find this. So 34, 36. Okay, yes. Yeah, it's probably best to, I probably should start using styles. I take a minute to do that. Oh, and also, actually, this is.
Yeah, and they're pretty easy to set up in XD too. Basically,
Yeah,
you just make a text box, and then you go to your assets panel in the left, and then add it to the panel.
yeah,
And what's great about if you set up a project like that, anywhere you're using that style, later on you can just change it everywhere, and it will update. If you decide for some reason you don't want to have bold titles anymore, you can change it to regular or italics. Or if you change typeface, you can change those all in the same place too. Yeah, right there.
yeah. Yeah, so let's, I want this to be a bit bolder, not too bold, but let's see. I don't want this to go there, so just delete it. Okay, this is looking cool. Next part of this would be, I kind of just want to break up this copy and show the actual final product. So it's going to bring in this screen mockup that I created for this. Which I can find. Actually, first let's create this area first. Get rid of this border. Apply this line color. And I want to make sure I'm working within the grids.
Is this where a screenshot will go of the product? Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And then how do you see the rest of this page being like? What's the story you're telling on this project? How are you laying it out?
Yeah, so I want to start with, again, the name of the project, give a bit of overview, the type of, and then some more information in terms of like the client, the role, my role, what was delivered, and how you can, like a CTA pretty much, right? And then going from there, I want to showcase, depending on the type of project and like what your deliverables were, I kind of want to tell the story behind that. So for this one, it's more about telling what the problem was, and then how did we go about solving that problem, and showing the actual live version of that website, and then kind of backing that up with some data. And then at the end of it, giving like a CTA to kind of view more projects or keep in touch with me. That's kind of like.
Nice. And what's CTA for people that don't know?
Oh, call to action.
Brilliant. Those call to action buttons are basically the biggest, most important thing that a website's asking you to do. It's like the sign up or the look at my projects or that call to action. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Like, yeah, generally, I mean, it's good practice to have a CTA. If you don't, then it's like, yeah, you're kind of missing a huge opportunity there.
Yeah. Oh, is that an iPad?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Let me,
I like that for a mock-up tool. Matthias is asking if the columns are built in or with a plugin. And I believe you're just using the built-in columns feature, right?
Yeah. It was something that's built into XD. Something that I set up initially. I can go back and show you. Command Shift, what is it? The key next to the return will show it.
Oh, like the apostrophe?
Yeah. Apostrophe.
The quote, I guess it's the quote.
Yeah. So that would bring it up, or you can go under here, under views. And where is it?
Yeah, it's the guides. It's under guides.
Yeah.
Or layout. Layout? Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Layout grid. Sorry. I was thinking guides for, yeah.
Yeah, the guide,
exactly.
Yeah, guides are these guys right here.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you can just set your column up right here once you get it open. So I just set mine up as a column grid.
Yeah, and you can use that as column grids, or you can set up like a square grid too. So not using columns, and you can set the color that you want as well. Very helpful. I like how the columns and the guides and everything, they're all kind of matching the same color for this project. Yeah, almost, maybe.
not by intent, but that is pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, so I'm just gonna add this bit. So as you scroll down, this how I picture it would be it could be a static like image, or it could be like a rotating like GIF or video that would just loop through the experience of the site.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's key for any kind of portfolio page where you're talking about a project that you worked on. One of the most important things that you got to show up right up front is the thing itself that you made, like the end result. Show it off, make it look pretty, because lots of people they'll be shy to show that all the way until the end after they've shown all their process, but not everyone will actually scroll all the way to the end, right?
Not everyone will scroll to the bottom, so you might as well show it up front, as close to the fold as possible, and then get to like the and that gives a bit more context too, like when you're giving like the explanations, like the problem statement, and explaining the rationale behind this piece gives it just a bit more context, right?
Yeah, that's huge. Context is key. I think it's one of the most important things.
Okay, so that's cool. I'm going to now just add I can show my grid. It's very important to this design. Let's how are we gonna do this? Let's see. I'm just trying to figure out like a structure. I'm gonna have I tend to have an image here, maybe an image here, and some copy here. I just want to see how I'm gonna break this up.
And these will be images of the product, or what's going in these ones?
Yeah, so these will be images of the actual experience,
okay.
Which I will demonstrate in a bit. So, okay, let me take this down. I really should just create styles. let's just say H1. Actually, sorry, H2. This would be H2. This would be, I'm not going to use this again. There should only really be one H1 on the page.
Yeah, just the title of the page, the whole thing.
H3. Let's just call this
setting up these styles, that's going to be very helpful for the whole design process.
Yeah.
Just to reuse them if you make another page like this for any of those other projects, right?
Exactly.
And theoretically, you're doing most of the work on this project, then the other ones are just kind of a matter of changing out the content, right?
Yep. And we'll just call this body copy. Mid. Actually. Okay, sweet. Okay, so for here, I want to have an image, and let me just grab it.
Nice. Marsha's asking if you have any examples of how this would look in a responsive design or adaptive design on different screens.
Good question. I do not, but if time permits, then we can probably do that. But
what would you say are like the main things you'd want to consider when going responsive, or what screen size would you design at?
Yeah, so when I'm designing for responsive, designing for like tablet and mobile, and the things I want to consider is I generally want to make the experience the same as the desktop as much as possible, even though you might have to cut down on certain things, like let's say the amount of text or how many photos. But there's going to be different patterns that I'm going to use, for instance. So for example, the homepage, on the desktop, it scrolls from left to right. On the mobile, it would be more of a just scrolling from top to bottom. So I would have like the main content at the top and then the case studies at the bottom. So I'm going to adapt different UI patterns for different devices, from mobile to desktop, to cater to that device.
Yeah, because the idea there, I'm guessing, is because if you have a touch screen, it'd be weird if it's going a different direction.
Yeah, like technically you could do it, but people tend to like scroll right on devices versus I mean, they do scroll from left to right too, but me personally, for this specific design, I would want to have it in a fashion where you can just scroll left, up and down to see more of the information versus like scrolling from left to right. You could, but I didn't want to take that approach with this design.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So here, I'm going to have, I'm just going to copy this guy right here.
Did you get these images from the client, or are they part of the web page?
Yeah, these are from the client.
Nice.
So I'm just going to have like a little blurb that says about. And then just grab this thing. Sweet.
In that context about the client is going to be huge because it sets up for maybe like what they wanted from you out of this project, right?
Exactly.
What you're going to give them. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I'm just gonna put this image here. And with that even said, as you mentioned that, so like, actually, let me just create a mouse. Like as you mentioned that, maybe like in terms of the design, maybe this should be up here and then the image below. Like, so that's the first thing you're reading. That would make
because people do naturally start at the top left.
Right, exactly. So yeah, okay, sweet. Yeah, and then even as I'm designing this, I'm kind of even in my head thinking about like interactions. Like this potentially could be some type of like parallax effect as you scroll up.
Oh, that would look good.
Type of thing. So that's kind of why I have it like offset, and I have it offset so it just kind of breaks like the general design. So that's cool. And then the next part of this would be the pretty much like the problem. So just stating out what is the problem. Now we have like context of who the company is, and let's kind of like showcase what the main issues were when it came to the website. So yeah, I'm just gonna borrow this guy right here. Actually, and make this right.
And Voodoo Val was asking about your opinions on parallax, which is definitely a hot topic, and it sounds by how you described that above portion is that you're a fan of it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. Like when it's used with intent and not overkill.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to go overkill because once you learn how to do it, you kind of just want to put it everywhere.
Yeah.
But if everything's important, nothing is important. So
exactly,
use it wisely.
Okay, so change it to H2. And let me just, even though I'm using Learn Ipsum, but I'm just going to change that. Let me just get back to the preview.
Ryan's asking if you have a favorite snowboarder.
Actually, no, I've never actually. No, I can't really say I do. I don't really watch the sport like that.
Yeah. I can't say I'm too involved in the snowboarding world either, so I'm not sure.
I would love to hear his recommendation if he knows of any.
Yeah. Maybe Ryan knows some. Who's your favorite, Ryan? And you need this is a great question. When the design is ready, how do you give all the elements to the developers? How do you cut the design?
Yeah, it's a great question. So that is usually done through just exporting everything. So for instance, there's several ways you can do it in XD. By marking it for export. So if I mark this guy for export, and then when I go to like export, I can export batch, and that will pretty much export everything. Sorry, no, export selected. That will export the ones that I selected. That's usually the approach that I take. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a great tool to use. That mark for export will include those assets that you select when you go to the share tab and go to make it like a developer link, and you can share that link, that prototype link with a developer. and they can see the type styles, the image, they can download the images from there. When I work with developers, I'm always using that design spec link is the feature in XD. It's called design spec. It'll have all the assets that the developer will need right from your XD file. But yeah, otherwise you could just give them the files like from your computer or from XD, download them and then send them over. But you know, everyone's process is a little bit different.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of creating two like block elements. And I thought it would be cool to like highlight the information in like a video. So let's say you conducted interviews to really find out what the main issues were. I've never done this before on a portfolio, but I thought it would be cool, and I might even add it to my personal one where you're showcasing the actual problem through the interviews that you conducted. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to illustrate here.
Yeah, that's huge. If you can show the research portion of your project. Did you have a research portion for the lifestyles project?
Not really. It was more just interviews and just talking with different people to really understand the problem. There was some rounds of like wireframing and stuff like that. What?
I feel like the interviews, I feel like if there's any research skill a designer should have, it's being able to interview someone and understand like where they're coming from and their problems.
Yeah.
And that's going to be huge to inform your design and tell that story on this page.
Absolutely.
So that whoever is reading along can kind of be with you on that story. Understand where the people are that you're designing for are coming from.
Absolutely. That's pretty much like the whole point of the portfolio, right? Is to kind of showcase like problems that you're solving. And I think we're going to need an H4. Again, usually as I'm working, I'm like defining the style guideline and then, well, not the style guideline, actually they are style guidelines. And then refining them as I go through. It's all an iterative approach, just taking iterations.
Yeah, because I mean, when you do have that set up initially, you've got it in the sidebar there. You can change it and see how it works. Like, oh, I'm going to be using, the names here with the avatar on the left, and maybe it's too big or it's too small, so you can just go in and change.
Right. As
you're working with it, because honestly, you could set up like your own artboard that's kind of has no content on it, but you just got all these type styles and the colors, and you can call that your style tile or your design system, but it's very separated from the rest of what you're making, and it's kind of hard to have it in context. Like, oh no, like that style that size just doesn't work when you actually put it into the design, right?
Exactly.
So that's why you have to be adaptive.
Exactly. So I'm just going to create like a play button here.
And I love how precise you're being. It's everything's, you're sure to, everything's pixel perfect, I can tell.
Yeah, I guess it's a habit. I don't even notice I'm doing it, but I guess it's just.
It's a good habit to have. Ooh, the play button. So is this for audio?
Yeah. So I think that would be kind of cool as a way to be a bit more engaging. So personally, I've never seen this on a portfolio site, but I was thinking of it when I was coming up with this idea. And I'm like, maybe I should add it to mine.
Yeah, include the audio for sure. As long as, the big thing there would be getting the consent of whoever you recorded.
Oh,
for that interview. Yeah,
absolutely.
But oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan of, like, if you can put anything that's multisensory beyond just the static visuals, right? I think like experience design is designing for the senses, right? So if you can add sound, if you can add videos, ways that people can feel like it's being interactive, right? Oh, nice. And is that the person that the interview is with?
No, this is just a placeholder.
Okay.
For now. Yeah, but exactly what you said.
But
so
I like that.
Getting permission would be the first thing. And let me. And this would be like, let's say, this is.
Oh, Ryan's linking in the chat an article about optical alignment and visual centers, which are very handy with those triangles because the visual weight is not necessarily where the geometrical center is. Yep.
Nice.
It's a great read. Howard Pinsky, what's up? How's it going? In the chat. He's doing the creative challenge right after this. So I hope everyone's psyched for that.
Nice. What is that?
It's coming. So our stream's ending in under 10 minutes, and then his will be shortly after that.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. So we will be wrapping up soon, but keep going. We've got time.
Dang, I didn't realize how time flew by.
It's all good, and we have tomorrow, right?
Yes. Okay, sweet. So yeah, these will be, let's say, the people you interview, and then if you click on this button, it will give that audio feedback, which again,
and you can actually put that audio in XD. This is one of the things I worked on the XD team, is the audio prototyping functionality. So you can actually put that in.
Amazing.
Ryan says, last 10 minutes, super speed design in all caps. In all caps. Just solve all the world's problems in 10 minutes. No big deal.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I can try. I probably will fail at that for sure.
No, but it's all good. Increase productivity by 100%, as if like it's a button, Ryan. Like you just input, increase productivity by 100%. Just press a button.
So yeah, the next bit is I kind of just want to break up the images now with a bit of copy. Again, from going from, actually, sorry, I meant to say not lifestyles, but problem statement and insight. Let's call it that.
Another thing Ryan's saying is, thank you for designing a portfolio in dark mode. I never thought about it like that, but yep.
I love it. Yeah, I guess. Okay,
is it dark mode if there's not a light mode though? I don't know.
That is maybe a great question.
What is a mode if not present with another mode? Getting all philosophical. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can speed this up, which is gonna be,
you got this.
Kind of impossible, but
a few minutes here.
Okay.
And then the last few minutes, I'd love to get your thoughts on what we'll be doing tomorrow. But keep going. You're good.
Okay. Let's see. Let me know if you guys want me to.
And what is this last part you're adding here?
This is going to be pretty much like the solution. So showcasing what was actually done from the branding to the website. Yeah, so presenting the problem and then presenting like the solution to that problem, which was.
And did that come from some brainstorm sessions or?
It did. But because, again, for this case study, my deliverables were visual design and branding. That's kind of what I'm going to just focus on for this. I don't want to showcase things that I wasn't a part of. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. Keeping it focused to your specific design deliverables. And I imagine if we did actually have that content in these text blocks, you know, it would say like, hey, we're getting specific into just the visuals for this project, exactly. And all the specifications that the client wanted and what Tony worked on specifically, right?
Exactly. And that way too, like even for, again, making your portfolio intentional. So when other people are viewing it, they have an idea of what you kind of like specialize in, and keeping it really, you know, again, focused.
Can we just talk about like this slick thing that you just did, like in the background? You just plopped in this iPad rendering, pulled it down, have it break out of that rectangle. That is so slick.
Oh, sorry. I'll back up. So
no, it's all good. It's all good. We've only got a few minutes, but that can be our last thing we talk about.
Yeah, what I did was I just made it a mask and I just pulled that mask down, right?
That is a very neat trick because it's almost like it's playing with space because it's inside the rectangle, but then it breaks out of it. Oh my gosh, you made all these renderings ahead of time, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Just to be mindful of time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is so cool. What did you use to make those?
Oh, in Photoshop.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna have time to actually make every single rendering in Photoshop and then design at the same time. I was a bit cautious of that, so made sure I came a bit prepared.
Yeah.
So let's.
It looks 3D. Nice. It is 3D. I mean, it doesn't look 3D. It actually is. Nice. Isometric. That's what we call it when a 3D canvas has no perspective. The lines don't converge.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a really neat look. Ooh, I like that. Very slick. Okay, Tony, this is super cool.
This is how it's shaping up so far.
Let's dive into what you'll be talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, so for tomorrow, I kind of want to, I guess, I'm going to have this done for tomorrow. Like this is going to be fully designed. And then just kind of go into like some micro interactions to kind of bring this alive, right? So clicking on the menu, what does that look like? How does it look like to scroll through these items? Just kind of bring it to a more fleshed out prototype.
I dig that. Oh, that'll be really fun. Because adding those interaction components, maybe even you could add audio for those if you want. I guess you would have to find the audio for those interviews.
Or if I do add audio, it would be from something that's like a placeholder audio, just to
I guess
how to do it.
You could kind of take the wireframe approach for the audio standpoint too, and just use like a placeholder on that front too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We're going to make this prototype, make it turn into interactive. It's going to be fun. Voodoo Val just put in some links to Tony's website and my Behance page. Thanks so much. Oh my gosh. Spreading all the love here in Behance Live. Honestly, what a fun time this has been over the last 2 hours.
And it's been great.
And we'll be back on the same time frame tomorrow, diving in and really bringing this to that next level. Last thoughts, Tony? How you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Nice.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Got some good insight from this, and come back tomorrow and we'll wrap it up.
Oh, I couldn't be more thrilled. Awesome. Everyone, thanks for participating in the chat. Love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.